performance to think about what they said afterwards?
I guess it just depends.
Or to like really focus on listening, would you say that it increases the quality of your performance?
Yeah, I guess because it would just mean that you're understanding more of what they're saying, and maybe you're asking questions to make sure you're clarifying that.
All right, that's it.
Gosh.
Okay, so if you have a job, do you think listening could affect your like work team as well as it affects your sports team? And how successful you guys are?
I think listening is important in all type of teamwork, like when it comes to work, just with your friends, with your roommates, on a team. I think it's always important. So yeah, I think it could affect
Okay.
your work life.
And do you think your team could benefit from getting listening lessons from someone?
I think sometimes. I think it depends on the team. Like for like right now, I think or a team. A lot of times you might have good listeners, and a lot of times you might have bad listeners. And like I think only if you have an issue with listening, you would really need that. But I guess you can always benefit from it. So.
Okay. And so, do you listen to music while you row? And if you do certain songs help you remember movements or like techniques you learn in rowing?
Yeah, sometimes like in the erg room we'll listen to music, and I kind of enjoy it when they have like good beats because it helps me stay more in rhythm, but it doesn't necessarily help me with like technique. But it might help me pull harder, so that's good.
Okay, and so do certain types of music affect your performance? I know you kind of like talked about that, and like how, like what types of music will help you like?
Just like music with like good beats. Like I know everyone likes different types of music. Like someone might like classical music. I don't like that when I row, but like some people might like that over rap, and some people might like rap over, other genre, opera. I don't know.
That's what I
don't know. Maybe
I get
someone
pumped
finds
to
inspiration in that. So yeah, I guess like it depends. I know there's been like studies out there that have shown that certain types of music help you perform better in exercise. So.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's this thing called the moment of truth, and when you're confronting something head on, you can either tell it like it is, or you can take the person's feelings into consideration and kind of do it more easily, even if you don't get your total message across. Which do you think is more effective?
I think what's more effective is kind of tell it like it is, because that just gets the point across better. But I think the way I would probably approach it is take feelings into consideration, just because I don't want to hurt them.
Okay. Do you think people listen better when you do it that way?
I think they respond better. I don't think that everything changes completely then, though. Like with whatever the issue is.
So if you did it head on, do you think they would change?
I think they might change a little bit more, but I think there might be a little bit of an issue between you then.
Okay. So have you ever had problems decoding like implicit meanings behind explicit messages? So an implicit meaning would be like what someone really means, and the explicit message is how they portray that. So do you have a problem like finding the real meaning?
I'm lost.
Okay, so
yes.
So I could tell you something and I would put it a certain way, but it might not come out the way I meant it. So do you okay, you can listen to people's tones to try to like actually, because I could tell you I was upset.
The alarm clock.
But I would do it not head on, basically. So do you have a problem with? I guess if you don't get what I'm saying right now, that kind of answers my question.
Can I skip this
Okay,
question?
we'll just skip that
You're
one.
really good at explaining stuff.
So, what are a couple qualities that make a leader a good listener? Or, I mean, no. What are 5 qualities that make a leader effective? Or a couple. Just a couple. Just a couple.
Well, listening, I think is good. Being able to, like, lead a group of people in a functional way.
Where do you think listening falls on importance?
I think it's pretty important for leaders because they have to try and listen to, take everyone's feelings and thoughts into consideration and kind of apply that to the entire team or group of people. So I think it's pretty high on the list.
Okay. And would you say you are a better talker or listener?
Well, as we can see by this interview, I don't think I'm the best talker, so I would say listener.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so in regards to rowing, do you think you perform better on your own or under the watch of a strict coach or a team leader?
Definitely under like a team leader, strict coach. It's so technical. Like I think it's really important to have other eyes to like correct me on what I'm doing and whatnot. So definitely with supervision.
All right. And what do you think is the most stressful part about rowing?
Just the technique, like getting on. Actually, no, scratch that. Being on the water. That was probably the most stressful part for me. I'm not a strong swimmer,
Mhm.
and every time I go out there, like I'm so tense because I've just heard all these stories about people like falling out of the boat or the boat flipping, and I get very scared. So definitely just being on the water is probably the hardest